conversation right now. Okay. Hey, Sam,
Okay.
thanks for joining us today.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me on. Looking forward to having a good chat.
Yeah. So can you please introduce yourself to the viewers?
Yeah, so my name is Sam White. My current role out here in Dubai is youth development phase lead, and then I head up the international department at Dubai City Football Club. And I also assistant manage our first team, which we're about to enter year 3 of the senior team's existence. So that's me.
Yeah, amazing. Sam, can you take us back in time and tell us where football all began for you?
Yeah, for me, football began. I guess as long as I can remember, as early as I can remember, as soon as I could walk. A bit stereotypical, but football gets put at your feet, especially being from England and from the UK. Is you have one choice or a couple of choices, and football is kind of both of them. So I played football from a young age. I played right the way through as a child and growing up, and then got really interested with coaching when I realised that the playing dream was never going to become an option for me because I wasn't quite at the level that was needed, and started coaching from the age of sort of 16. And that's pretty much where the journey ended up to where I am now. So from playing as a youngster into coaching as a relatively young coach as well, has sort of got me into the position I'm in today.
Yeah, and you said at the age of 16 you made that switch to start coaching. How'd you know, how'd you make that decision to stop playing and then start coaching?
I think I always wanted to have a good knowledge from both sides. I always wanted to know what the coach was thinking. I was always quite aware of things going on around me and wanted to understand the thought process of coaches, managers, why you're selected, why you're not selected, why we're doing specific things, why we're not. I was always quite, I guess, forward with what I thought. So I always wanted to have an opinion, and I thought I should probably back that up with a bit of knowledge. So I always wanted and had an interest in it. And then it got to the point where I realised I wasn't going to be offered scholarships at clubs. I wasn't going to be offered pro deals. And it sort of seemed quite an easy, natural transition for me just to move into coaching, and still meant I could play and be involved in football every day, but just on the different side of the game to actually being out there and playing. So I continued my playing in semi-professional and amateur football for a while, and continued on, and I guess started on my journey as a coach.
Yeah, and did you go to college or university?
I went to university, yeah. So I left school, went to university, did 3 years at university down in Southampton in the south of England. And whilst I was at university, I was working at Southampton Football Club. So I sort of started part-time at Southampton Football Club from, I must have been 14, 15, 16 years old, sort of collecting the cones, counting the footballs in, and doing everything I needed to do as an assistant, and sort of worked my way up into full-time positions at the club, and ended up staying there for 12 years across multiple different roles. So I did that alongside university whilst doing my studies, and continued after I finished my studies as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you were there for 12 years. So how'd you enjoy your experience at Southampton?
I loved it. For 3 of those years, I was at university, so I sort of worked whilst also earning a bit of a salary on the side, which was always good because, as most people that have gone to university or college know, money's not the easiest thing to come by, and you're studying and enjoying your life. So I managed to have a slightly different experience to a lot of my colleagues and my fellow students because I was also working. So it meant pretty busy from studying to work to, socialising, but then at the same time, it was allowing me to have a foothold in the game that, and I guess where I wanted my career to go. So yeah, I was at Southampton Football Club for 12 years and enjoyed every minute of it as a youth developing football club, as a club that's got an amazing community fan base. I worked across multiple areas of the club, and it was just such a cool experience and a really good learning curve for me to work with some of the best youth coaches in the world, some of the best coaches, some of the best managers, and to see some of the best players in world football come through as well over that period of time was a pretty incredible experience.
And what sacrifices did you and your family have to make?
So, I mean, one that comes straight to mind is I I actually was born and lived for most of my childhood down in Brighton, which is a good couple of hours from Southampton. So whilst I was in school, my mum would drive me 2 hours after school, before school, to go down to Southampton to assist, just to literally assist at a session and then drive back. So I think from a pure and a sheer transport and being the taxi service that your parents end up being for you when you're growing up, they put so much money, hard work, effort into getting me to and from these places when when otherwise I wouldn't have had the opportunity to do so. And then for me, I guess the only thing I can think of, I wouldn't say it's sacrifices. I think people gave me the opportunities that I needed to be in those sort of learning positions. But I guess sacrifice-wise, I probably gave up a little bit of what the university and the college life is to make sure that I put myself in a really good position from a learning perspective as a young coach, rather than doing the normal college socializing scene and spending all my money on just going out and doing the fun things in life with friends. I sort of was bed early 3-4 nights a week. I was making sure I was up early at the stadium or at the training ground, and I was always going to put myself in for opportunities where I could. Whereas most of the other people around me were just enjoying life in this sort of college environment, so university environment, I guess.
Yeah, understood. And going back to the university time when you were in school, you were coaching. Were you very disciplined and organized?
I was. I think both sort of supported each other though, because I think that one of the hardest things when you're going through university, I mean, I studied a sports coaching degree, so one of the hardest things is to find good case studies to work with. Well, I kind of had my own sort of live case study going on the whole time. I was coaching at a Premier League football club. I was working with some of the best in the business. I just had a constant day-to-day, real life case study that I could sort of dissect. I could write about. I could use real life scenarios. And I think a lot of the other people on my course and a lot of the people around me found it really hard to find real life scenarios to base any of their learning around. So from that perspective, I was really lucky, to be honest.
Yeah. And actually, let me ask you this, Sam. Since you're a coach, you're coaching at Dubai City Football Club right now.
Yeah.
What are 3 tips that you would share with aspiring football players that want to go pro? What are 3 things that you would share with them in order to achieve that?
Number one is just expect the unexpected. Everyone comes up with a dream and an idea of exactly where the journey is going to take them, and they have it all mapped out for themselves, especially the modern day kids now. Number one is, I'd say, be open-minded with any opportunity that comes your way. I work with a lot of players now who are struggling to get into D1 colleges, although they're good enough to do so. So accepting the fact that they might end up in a D2 or a D3 college, accepting the fact that their journey may have been a professional club, but now because of the pandemic, because of the situation we find ourselves in, those opportunities are really difficult to find. So accepting that there are so many different opportunities abroad, here in Dubai, in the UK, in Europe, in America, in South America, in Africa, there's so many different opportunities. Just don't be so narrow-minded is my one piece of main advice, I guess. And open your eyes to the whole world. Number 2 is just making sure that all of the sort of knockbacks and all of the things that you're going to get told, the situations you're going to be in, don't let it affect you, and just always look for the next one. If one door closes, there's always going to be another door open. And then number 3, just be your own person. I see so many people, again, especially with the age and the generation we've got right now, they're trying to be somebody else. Just be you, just do what you've got to do. Be the player that you can be, and just stick true to who you are, and stop trying to compare yourself to other people. And yeah, that would be my 3 main things, I guess.
Yeah. So it's interesting because you're from England, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And now you're in Dubai. So how'd you find that transition to Dubai? Was it a hard switch for you from coaching in England and then going over to Dubai? Was that hard, or was it pretty simple?
I think it was quite simple. We're in like a crazy culture out here in Dubai where it's a very similar model to the US, where I've also worked, um, in the respect that it is such an up and coming soccer market where people have got aspirations to make it back to the top of the game, whether that be in Europe somewhere, in the UK, that everybody is fighting for such a small percentage or such a small amount of opportunity, that you've got so many eager kids everywhere desperate to do anything. So the attitude of the boys here is really good. Their understanding is really good. The transition over here, I say the only difficult thing is working in a very different culture and in different weather environments. You know, today's been 42 degrees out here, whereas the hottest day you'd coach in back in the UK is probably the mid 20s, and you know, it's a very, very different scenario. We're having to have water breaks. We're having to train at 8, 9, 10 p.m. in the evening, play games at 9 and 10 o'clock in the evening out here. So they're the big differences. But from a player to coach perspective, everyone's still aiming for the same thing. You know, everyone's still trying to put the work rate in. Everyone's still trying to look for the same opportunities. The big differences would just be the cultural aspect, and also obviously the environment when it comes to being essentially living in a desert, I guess.
Yeah, and I just want to mention you stated you shared three strong points before. Um, with saying that Dubai, Dubai. So the Dubai team that you're coaching right now, do you guys only have players from Dubai, or do you guys have international players as well?
No, we've got all the above really. So our youth academy, which runs from sort of under 8s right up to under 18s, is completely expatriate. So we have American players, Canadian players, African players, English, anywhere in Europe, Australian, Asian. You know, it's a complete melting pot of cultures throughout the club. So then when you move into our first team, we have to have a specific amount of local players. So we have a number of Emirati players who are local to Dubai here. We then have a lot of European players as well, and a lot of African players, with 2 American players in there as well. So the first team has to be, and now we've been promoted, the first team has to be heavy from the local side, and have a lot of Emirati players in it, but the rest of the club is very international. And as of next season, we're going to have an under-23 squad, which we're looking to recruit worldwide to bring people over to Dubai and try and give guys an opportunity to, I guess, get professional football in a world that they probably don't even know exists yet. So we're ready to go live with that on Sunday, actually. For our under-23 program, which will be basically sit in line with the first team, and they'll be regarded as first team players, but they'll be in sort of the under-23 squad, so they'll be the younger players in the squad.
Understood. And congratulations on the promotion with the club. So the U23, when will that take place?
So the U23 is going to fall in line with the first team next season. So essentially, they'll be in from September 1st. We'll be starting pre-season. And those guys will be on a 9-month contract with the club. They'll pay a monthly fee, which covers everything from their accommodation to their logistics, their food and beverage, their training, the kit, everything all included. And that starts in September, and then they'll be here for the full season, and they'll be a member of the first team playing squad. And then they'll be playing their matches with the under-23 squad. And if they're good enough, we're going to look to hopefully take a couple of gems from the global recruitment we're about to start and put them into the first team essentially, and offer them a chance to be playing in Division 1 out here in the UAE.
Yeah, that's it. That's amazing. That's amazing. And you did mention, you said this is a world. I'm not saying this word by word about what you said, Sam, but you said a world that they don't know that exists.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something that you said? Am I on the right track?
No, yeah, that's exactly that. You know, for a lot of people, even in the strong football community back home that I speak to, we don't get much. We don't get much sort of journalism with regards to the league. It's very local league, but there's still money in this league. It's still an excellent standard of football to play in, and obviously we've got the World Cup just up the road in Qatar in a year or so, and the amount of sort of money provision and everything else going on out here is just unknown to the rest of the world. And it's about, you know, the biggest thing for us now is getting as much as we can out to the world. to say like this exists. This is a professional football league with a really strong pyramid, with a really good FA that are putting a lot of money and provision into the league. And I don't think people understand how good the leagues are out here in the UAE. We've got a lot of big teams, a lot of big players from Europe are now coming over, just as they do to the MLS, are now coming over to sort of in the middle or to the end of their careers, and building a profile of a really good league out here.
Yeah, Dubai looks beautiful. I've never been. I do definitely want to go to Dubai soon. For you, living wise, lifestyle wise, how has that been for you? Your experience? Are you loving it, or is it just like it's normal? How is it for you right now?
Yeah, I'm absolutely loving it. I think I've been here nearly 2 years now, and it's just about understanding and getting used to the weather is the big one. You know, the humidity and the heat is incredible. We'll come out of training or be setting up, and it could be close to 50 degrees some days in the summer. Um, 50 degrees Celsius that is, and it's like it's just incredible heat that you really struggle to get used to. But otherwise, I absolutely love it. You know, we live in this crazy world that's been built in the last 50 years that did not exist prior to that. From everything that is here now, from the skyscrapers and all of the entertainment and activities you can get to do here. But as the place grows, more people get here. It's busier, it's bustling. There's an amazing footballing community. There's amazing entertainment community, and there's just never not anything to do. You know, there's always something going on. So it's pretty hard not to love this place. And then once you get out of the main town, you've got some beautiful beaches. You've got some amazing scenery in the desert to go and explore. So there's just always a million things to do here. You know, it's the busiest place I've ever been in my life, but it's amazing. If you like a fast-paced lifestyle, then Dubai's for you.
Yeah, I like that you said it's hard not to love it. That's a strong statement. I like that. Um, but saying that now, so it sounds like you're really enjoying it down there.
Yeah, for sure. It's really cool, and also the thing that helps is obviously the project that we're in at the moment with the club. The club's coming into it. It's about to start its 5th year in existence, and to think that it started as a young private youth academy, and now we've got a first team which we got promoted in year 2 into the Division 1 out here is amazing, and we just don't really know where it's going to go. You know, it's so exciting. We've got the international program with the under-23 starting that we're looking to recruit players from all around the world for. We've got a first team that we're looking to get into the top Premier League out here, which will just be huge. We can look now long term at stadiums and training grounds, and you know, it's something where even if you did want to leave, you'd be kicking yourself in 2 or 3 years time, because it's just the start of an amazing project from a work perspective. And then, as I alluded to in the last question, as a lifestyle, it's hard not to love, you know.
Yeah, and you said there's a lot of money behind in Dubai and behind this football club. You guys have a lot of money behind this football club as well.
Not us. No, we're a completely self-sustainable company. So everything we have is made from the club. So from the youth set up to the community camps to the schoolwork that we do, everything is self-sustained. And then that goes into a big pot, which basically funds our staffing, our venue hires, our kit, our equipment, everything like that. Now we're going through a budgeting process at the moment for the first team, that we're obviously going to be looking at a much bigger budget, which comes with the need for sponsors and slightly more investment and things like that. So we're just trying to clear the budgets at the moment to what is going to be a really, really exciting season next year.
Yeah, how are facilities?
Yeah, our facilities are pretty good. So we train currently out of we've got a couple of different venues we work and play out of. So some of the venues over here are some of the best in the world. You got the Seven Stadium, which is about I think it's 8 or 10 beautiful grass pitches. Then you've got Dubai Sports City, which hosts a number of amazing pitches. You have Jebel Ali Resort over here, which has a number of incredible pitches. We train out of a private school called King's School, who've got a couple of really, really good pitches that we play and train on. Both, you know, artificial pitches, grass pitches, indoor gyms, indoor facilities for playing if the heat is just too much. there's so many facilities out here that you know, you just, every corner you look at has got another incredible facility. So
Yeah, and I could imagine, but how is networking down there? How's your experience of networking? Do you enjoy networking down there and connecting with the people, or how's that experience?
yeah, I love it, and because there's so many people from so many different countries, you never know what you're going to bump into. You know, there's the sports community out here is huge. You know, we've got the ICC HQ for world cricket is here in Dubai. We've got so many other, you know, there's so many huge football clubs out here. Rugby's massive out here as well. You've got baseball, like little leagues out here. There's so many people to connect to from different sports just within the sporting world that you'd be hard pushed not to be good at networking. You know, you have to go out of your way not to network here. And then from a business and commercial perspective, which is also a massive part of the sporting culture out here, you know, it's such an easy sell for us. It's Dubai. We've got some incredible facilities. We've got beautiful places. We've got amazing beaches. We've got perfect weather. You know, it's very difficult not to tell you how amazing Dubai is. It's not like, well, if you come in this month, it's going to be rain or too much wind. It's just sunny 12 months a year. You know, if you enjoy sun, you enjoy good weather, and you enjoy amazing facilities and people, it's the place to be. So everyone wants to be in touch with you. You know, where networking can be difficult is when you're chasing people, you're trying to build a network or build leads. It seems to be a lot easier here in Dubai because it's, you know, opportunities are so good out here that people want to be involved, which makes the conversation starter a lot easier. And then the interest in what other people are doing and what their journey's been. You know, what you walk down to one sports facility and just finding out what people's journey was to why are they in Dubai is an interesting enough story to go and start a networking conversation with. So from a networking perspective, I'd say it's a really, really good place.
Yeah, that's amazing. You're getting me really, really excited about Dubai. So, what about the COVID situation? Yeah, what about the COVID situation? Because over here, I'm in Florida, Naples right now, and I say it's COVID free. Obviously, it's not, but there's no one really wearing masks. You don't have to wear a mask when you go inside the stores or grocery stores or anything like that. So it's not mandatory. It's really nice over here. So how is it in Dubai?
To be honest, the country has dealt with it incredibly. So I think we're over. I think it's around 70% from a vaccination rate. Don't quote me on that one, but I think it's somewhere around that. I've had both of my doses of the Pfizer vaccine now, and I most people I know are all vaccinated up as well and sorted. Then we're still at the point. So they went pretty hard on their lockdown initially. I can't even remember how long it was now. 18 months maybe. Pretty hard with a lockdown and curfew, and they very slowly just edged their way through the whole situation. We're still at the point where we have to wear masks at any time we're in public. We're still social distancing, and to be honest, the way they deal with it is a pretty no tolerance way of looking at it. You know, if you're going to disobey any of the rules, then you're going to be slapped with harsh fines, and you're going to find yourself in big trouble. So they've had such a strong fist with all of the laws they've put in and all of the different things they've done to make the situation good, that we've got to a point now where we're slowly moving back into what is very normal life, albeit with a mask around our face and just being careful with regards to distancing. But the vaccination program, the way they've eased back in and out of lockdown has been incredible. And yeah, it's obviously helped really well because the rates are down, the vaccination rates are up, and just today they announced more taking more precautions away so we can have more people at weddings, more people in restaurants and coffee shops, more people allowed in sporting venues. So it's really starting to ease, and it's just, I guess, a credit to the way they've dealt with it out here.
Yeah, Sam, I really appreciate you taking the time to let me interview you. I hope you all the best. And just really quickly, where can everyone find you?
Okay, bunch of different ways. The best way out here in Dubai is social media. So go check us out at City FC Official. Check out the website at DubaiCityFCOfficial.com. And get in touch with us in any of those streams. We have Twitter, we have Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of the main social media platforms. We'd love to hear from anyone. Drop an email over to me at sam.white, that's sam.white, WHITE, at DubaiCityFC.com with any questions about anything that we spoke about today. And we just really want to grow the brand and tell everyone about how amazing the club is and the trajectory we're on. So I'm willing to speak with anyone and would love to hear and network with anybody that's willing to talk about the club and who is interested in it. So I really appreciate your time. And yeah, and if we can speak again, that'd be great.
Okay, amazing. Thank you, Sam. Let's stay connected. Yeah,
For sure. It's a pleasure and appreciate your time. Take care.
thank you.